Good evening, everybody. How was your day? Is that your day? How's your day?
How was your day?
How was your day? Busy?
Yeah.
If you're busy, it's good. You have some job.
Yeah.
Good. But now you have to be busy is better. Sometimes, if you're not busy, then bored or body? Bored. Anyway, we are again together to study about Buddhism. Buddhism is what do you call it? Buddhism is, some method to how we identify our many different quality minds. Usually we have many different minds. We build many different minds, but we didn't find each mind what they call, what their man's name, what their different minds doing. And actually, the scientists, they investigation to soft things, they give the name, they give it the power, over the soft things. For example, when they make some maybe water or some juice, they say, okay, they have this much power, you can keep this much date, after you cannot use. The investigation, everything very perfectly. But no one investigation our mind. Then usually Tibetan, Buddhism, they investigation our mind, then they identified what kind of mind our have, what the mind doing, activity every day. Therefore, usually we say, we have what do you call it? Everybody has unwanted some problems, sufferings, everybody. Even I have a little bit of problem in my eyes now. Maybe it's true, I don't know. Anyway, then actually, where they come from, the problems, unwanted the problems. Tibetan Buddhism believe the cause and effect, cause and condition. We really clear the cause, then when condition come in, the result come in, then always about some problems. Then what can't cause the problems? These problems cause is we follow usually our main mind follow the ignorance. If we follow the ignorant minds, then without knowing reality, then we have a lot of problems. This is some written view, or they believe. Even whatever everyday phenomena, activities, they depends cause, condition, or
so it depends on the cause and condition, or the things that it depends on.
For example, if you have to do some computer work, something, all the conditions or come together, then they can work. Everything, Even if you have to put matches in fire. Even their cause condition already, the condition is to just be, strike, then the fire coming. If the condition not struck, then even they both have causes already that never happened. When we strike, then the fire is coming. For example, that then we Buddhism believe we collect a lot of good karmas, bad karmas. We do very good things, bad things. Then we have a lot of we really collect a lot of costs. Then when conditions come in, then we have the results coming. And for example, maybe I have some little problem, I do not. I really collect that cost. I take shower, maybe after some soap here. Now, maybe I will did before that problem. Now I don't light, all cause conditions come in, then my eyes a little bit itchy. For example, anyway, that's the name that
so anyway, Buddhism or Buddha's teaching is a device that is that helps to change or transform our mind. So there are many different kinds of mind that has to be transformed, and there are some which are not necessary to be transformed. So those kind of mind, by following which, if we experience any suffering, then those are the kind of mind that has to be transformed. But other kind of mind, those which, by developing which, or by following which, if it brings happiness to us, then we don't have to transform that kind of mind. Instead, we should increase that kind of mind. So therefore, the method, to increase the good minds and to transform the bad mind, is explained in the teachings, in the scriptures. So that we have to study and then apply it to practice. So if we don't apply those teachings into practice by ourselves, then no matter how much compassion and love the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have towards us, it will not help us. They will not be able to help us. So just like even if you have a full plate of food, but if you don't put it into your mouth and chew it and swallow it, it will not fill your stomach. So just like that, it's not that it's just not that the food doesn't have the potential to fill your stomach or give you the power, but it's just that you didn't eat it. So therefore, even there's a plate full of food, it will not help. And so here in this we're going to study explains about the kind of mind that are not good and that has to be transformed or eliminated. And so this kind of mind, we use them all the time. We generate them, we use them all the time. But some of them we identify, but many of them we don't identify. And many of us, we think whatever we are thinking is the right thing, and because of that, then we make many mistakes. And so by developing any kind of mind, when you experience some kind of problems or sufferings, then we should identify that mind is a mistaken mind, because of which we experience these problems.
Can you go to my room? Okay. Have some glass.
Glass?
Yeah, there are two glasses. I don't know which one.
Eyeglasses? Okay.
Yeah, eyeglass. One's in the glass table, one's maybe next to the computer.
Okay.
I could do it.
My eyes, I don't know. Is it right?
Maybe you're right.
This is my karma. The condition that come in there. What is it? The also kasam. That's a shiva. The paja condition is a thing.
So last time we stopped at the point where I was talking about the abandonments, right? Shiva, you know what?
Shiva.
So yeah, the fourth point, right, which is distinguishing the method for abandoning the objects of abandonment.
It's
in page 28. So then it says, on the occasion of the path of seeing, 112 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned by the path of seeing are abandoned, and so forth. So anyway, so path of seeing is a quality of mind, right? It's a type of mind. So just like such and such mind is called such and such, the mind that does such and such function is called such and such mind. So here, this path of seeing is a mind, is a type of mind that has certain qualities.
Oh, this is good. You don't get glass?
Glass.
You didn't find the glasses?
Glasses, no. Eyeglasses I didn't find.
Oh. Yeah, my room.
I didn't see it on the table. Go back.
Once a day, yeah, you have to check it.
Okay. I'll go back.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Deborah.
Oh,
Better?
shoot something.
So,
it's
burning.
yeah, maybe I have to go emergency. What it done?
When you sleep.
Yeah, that's all. 아니, 동본 예절 써야 돼. 다 그래. 다 타와토발 받으시지 말이야.
So here it talks about the afflictive obstruction, right? Afflictive obstruction, and there's different kind of obstruction also. So the afflictive obstruction are the obstructions that mainly obstructs one from achieving liberation.
그렇지. 아니면 동본 시접자다. 이제 와서 시접 써야 다 탐정제가 상제고 같은 걸 받으시지 말이야.
And so then it talks about the obstruction to omniscience, right? You see that? Obstruction to omniscience. So that's the different other kind of obstruction. So there are two kinds of obstruction, afflictive obstruction and obstruction to omniscience. And so the obstruction to omniscience is the obstruction that mainly obstructs one from achieving state of Buddhahood.
간신 내일로도 강한 단한 말을 소리를 해야 되나 맞아. 간신 무슨 거 말이에요. 강한 말을 해야 된다.
So all these obstructions do exist in our mind. It's just that we don't know them. We haven't been able to identify these kind of minds.
네. 돈을 써야 돼. 돈을 써야 돼. 다 돈바가 니모에 말이더라고. 갑자기 땅에 들어와.
So the path of seeing, is antidote that eliminates that kind of fights with these minds, mainly the afflictive obstructions.
대다 단단 마도지랑 돈을 써야 돼. 매와 인사 얘는 돈바에 빠지고 말했어. 나대로 나대서. Sure.
He's right.
So in order to abandon,
Okay,
in order to abandon the obstruction, to be abandoned by the path of seeing, you have to have a path of seeing. So if you don't have the path of seeing, you will not be able to abandon the obstruction that is to be abandoned by path of seeing.
그래서 단단 마도지라 다 마도지라 단다. 돈을 썼다. 요 다시 요 말이 들어와. 그래서 마도니까 돈반 예를 줘야 돼. 마도 말이야.
So if we don't have that path of seeing, then we will not be able to then abandon those afflictive obstructions to be abandoned by the path of seeing.
다 들어가는 마찬가지야. 이제 다 되겠네. 시전에 지금 남긴 돈반해야 돼. 지금 남쪽 방송에 봐. 이해와도 잠깐으로 되는 다 너무 쉬워요.
And so there are many different kinds of obstructions. So it says here, right, 112 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, and 108 obstructions to omniscience to be abandoned by the path of seeing.
다 되거든. 다 대체적인 대백대신 동봉 연접 비숍 지어서
And so now we're going to count what are the 112 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned by the path of seeing. And here it says, right, regarding these 112 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned by the path of seeing, and this is because 40 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned by the path of seeing, which are included in the grounds of the desire realm.
그래서 단 대자들 대마서 잡으시라고 등마 대마, kunju 대마, 모델 남대세로와.
And says which are those, for example, which observe the four noble truths, the true suffering, true origin, true cessation, and true path.
아니 내가 동안 통봉 명모 저, kunju 통봉 명모 저, 모반 통봉 명모 저, 남 통봉 명모 저, 다 직접 작성 와서.
So you can see here, and so there are 10 for each noble truth, each truth, right? Each truth. So there are 10 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned, afflictive obstruction with regards to the true suffering that is to be abandoned on the path of seeing, Then there's 10 afflictive obstructions with regards to the true origin that is to be abandoned on the path of seeing. And there's 10 afflictive obstructions with regards to the true cessation that is to be abandoned on the path of seeing. There are 10 afflictive obstructions with regards to the true path that is to be abandoned on the path of seeing. So that way, there are 40 afflictive obstructions, including in the grounds of the desire.
Then
there are like 72 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, which are included in the grounds of the higher realms. And so if you add the 72 and 40, that makes 112, right?
Right.
So this is what we have already said, right? The first, that there are 40 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, which are included in the grounds of the desire realm, is established because there are 10 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, observing true suffering, including in the grounds of the desire realm, which is that there are 10 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, observing true origins, and true cessation, and true path, like that, right? And so that the first, that there are 10 afflictive obstructions to be abandoned on the path of seeing, observing the true suffering, including in the grounds of the desire realm, is established because there are desire, so there are desire, so that's the first one. So we all have that, right? Desire. And anger, second one. Third is pride. So afflictive ignorance, afflicted ignorance, it doesn't exist in our mind, it's just that we don't know. So anything that we don't know, we are ignorant about something, that's the afflicted ignorance. So afflicted doubt, it's the doubt that is tended towards the wrong conception or wrong idea. And so it says, thinking that, there is a past life and future life or not, whether there is a past life and future life or not, whether there is a karmic law of cause and effect or not, or maybe there is not. So even though there is, you tend towards not. So thinking like that kind of doubt. So maybe there's no karmic law of cause and effect, and so there's no need to worry about creating ambitious actions and so forth. So because of that doubt, then you tend to create. So that's called the afflicted doubt. And then there's called the views of the transitory recollection. So here, this is again another type of grasping at the self. And then there's the wrong views. And then so the wrong view is thinking that there is no past and future life, there's no three jewels, there's no no suffering from creating non-virtuous actions or happiness from creating virtuous actions and so forth. And then there's the views of apprehending extreme. So that's extreme either like nihilism or anti-nihilism. So either it exists completely forever, or it doesn't exist at all. And then after that is apprehending wrong views as supreme. So the wrong views, such as the wrong view itself, and then the views of the transitory collection, and the views of apprehending and the extreme and so forth. So I was thinking of all these views as supreme, any of these views as supreme.
근데 투점도 뜻이 초도돼. 다 투점 초도 많이 봐. 투점 된다. 뜻이 초도 많이 봐. 뜻이 초도면서 마세지로.
And then apprehending the faulty ethics and modes of conduct as supreme. So those which are not good ethics or good mode of conduct, you think of them as good or supreme mode of conduct or supreme ethics. So thinking like that.
답변하지. 자가대가 주요되는 얘기죠. 너 지나고들이 가서 대고를 이만 좀 대가 세워야 다 받고 아니 쇼게 너 최소 숨바시와 아니 야나네 다 추첨을 아니 완전히 최소까지 예타가는 다 내가 다할 때 이거 이래서 다 맞이 등조에 들어갔어.
And so there are some religions in India where they think that if you jump on a trident and die by jumping on a trident.
On a what?
Trident. A
Trident. Fork. Yeah.
Fork. Trident. Then you achieve liberation. You will free from suffering. So and then also if you wake up early in the morning around dawn, like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then take a bath in a very cold water, and all your sins will be purified. So that kind of conduct, that kind of ethics. So thinking that those are as supreme. So that kind of ethics, thinking and jumping on the trident and so forth, we regard that as not a good ethic, but they think that's a good ethic.
I just have one question before we go past those. I don't understand why the afflicted ignorance. So is it there is unafflicted ignorance, or and why is it called afflicted? Like what's the?
영어적인 말해 보세요.
네.
영어적인 말해 보려고 왔어. this 영어적인 말해 보려고 왔어.
아, 영어적인 말해서 시작했다.
이 여성들은 영어적인 말해 보세요. 시작을 해서.
영어적인 말해 봐서다 나서 예적 소다. 영어적인 말해 봤나? 시적 봐서요. 시적. 이건
So unafflicted will be the ignorance that is obstruction to omniscience.
영어적인 말해 봐. 말해 봐. 오케이. 다들 줄로 와서 나도 줄에서 왔어.
So those are the 10.
다들 등한테 말했죠. 때는 그 주도 말했죠. 고발해서는 특강 집에 찍지 않았어.
And so those 10 you can say in relation to the true suffering or observing the true suffering, and then observing the true origin of those 10 to observing the true cessation, and again those 10 observing the true path. So that makes 40.
하여튼 가서 단다 주대 양한테라 따왕한테 땀을 가서 꼭 가셔야 되죠. 따왕한테 땀이 나서.
And so these 10s again also so there are 5 that are views and there are 5 that are non-views.
따왕 가서 해야 돼. 땀 문이 무슨 방이 있어. 딱 시절 없던 되겠지. 땀 가서 해야 돼. 대인 전방한테 송화를 때네. 양 공정한테 딱 남도 요것이 되는 거래서.
So those are views, of course. Those the views those are views, and so by having them, those are the wrong views, right? You engage in the wrong views, but those are non-views. Those that are non-views, not of views. So even by engaging in them, also you engage in the wrong actions.
다 다시 따왕한테 인직다이 말했죠. 인직다치지.
So you can see those that are views. You can see that it says the views are the view of the transitory collection is one.
아니 인직다한테 다 이해돼도 돼. 다 위에서 지금 다 실제로 없는 데로 와서 다 나기와 데파트먼트 데로 와서.
And so the view of the transitory collection, is having a wrong view, about the thing. And So thinking of that thing as viewing at that thing as existing from its one side, or existing, self-sufficient and so forth.
아니 로따인 말이죠.
And then the other view, that's the wrong view, right? So the view of the transregulation, the wrong view.
아니 로따스에 대다 예태도 때 매방 대다 때 많이 봐. 다 런도지 말이죠.
So the wrong view, is again, like I said before, so seeing, having the view as something as wrong, something that is wrong, so thinking that there's no past and future life and so forth.
로따지. 아니 다다세 되면 다다. 네, 다다시.
무슨 것도 되게 실상을 해야 되잖아.
따와마세.
그래. 말도 단단히 실상아.
어디 당장 사람
단단히 실상을 찍어라.
집안에 다다세.
그것도 따와마다 따면.
아래랑 다가가지고 다다시 말이죠.
So those that are view, the views of the transregulation, the wrong view, the view apprehending at extreme.
아니 말이 봐지.
말해.
말이 봐. 이제 달로 다다다 말이 봐 대전. 대나스죠.
직다시, 로까지,
다다지. 말이 봐지 대전.
대전도 따와마라.
대전 용어지지요.
따와마 따와샤 말해.
더 좋게 된다.
그래. 도시 초보생 봤어요.
네.
소련도 도시 초보생 봤어요.
근데 이건 더 좋게 된다.
따와야 따와줘도 이제 따라 들어가서.
말 거도 되고.
못하면 이제
따와줘도 거.
그래서
오대.
직선 갔다 와, 로퍼 타고.
타전 따와.
따와줘.
따와줘도 된다.
소리가 도시
초보생.
그래. 그래 따왔다. 로바도 저도 됐어요.
따와준다 거지.
더 디시 내가다 따왔어요.
대라 아니다 따와마지. 말에 대선 말이 봐 대선마 대선 따와마지. 다 따는가디 다 컴퓨터 송하나 때니다 컴퓨터로 보시는 거 들어왔어. 이제 다치 이제 돌아 따와지. 로바 따와지. 다들 따와지. 말이 봐지. 아니 대선
말을 타오르게.
근데 말이 반대 볼 따와 쓰도 와서. 따와마도 따와 대좀 맞을까? 따가지 말이 반대 왕기.
따와마도 따미마샤라. 따미마리 가서.
다음에 직접 따와지.
말마. 따미노 따와마이 뭐나. 너 자지. 콘로지.
내 저지 공로지. 맞아지. 아니 따와주는 사람 봐지. 특정도 뜻을 줘서.
또 따와샤더라네. 따와줘도 따와라.
따와들이.
나가서 땀이 쉬거든요. 따와 많이 먹나 쉬고 말해. 말이 빠지 땀이 많아. 따와 말아. 대선대 따와 말아.
예전에 작으면서 다 등록을 하셔야 돼. 그래. 벌써 되게 이대로. 그게 대제 왕기 지역을 해서 이거.
거의 바전
바신이.
가봉지대로.
가봉지대로.
어디가 드셔도. 따와 많이 받이. 따와마디.
바시 말이야.
직접 따와지. 로바 따와지.
단자마 따와지.
나 타지마 따와지.
근데 말이 빠지.
말이 보자. 대전만.
어.
따와줘도 전부디 땀이래.
어디 땀이 많이 빠져서.
네.
다 냄바지를 로바라 주셔서 그러고. 아니 단자도 줬는데 아니 시마다 다 기질적으로 생각을 해요.
네. 다들 파전 조심도 출전도 도시 천지세 때 초도 점에서 때 땀이 잘 나게 살 거죠. 더 많이 마셔야 되겠어. So anyway, we're talking about the 5 views and the 5 non-views, right? Among these 10 afflictive obstructions. We said that the 5 of them are view, 5 of them are non-view. So the 5 of them that are view are the afflicted ignorance, the afflicted doubt, the view of the transitory collection, wrong view, and the view apprehending an extreme. So those are the 5 that are views. And those 5 that are non-views are the desire, anger, pride, view, so it's apprehending a wrong view as supreme, and apprehending the faulty ethics and the mode of conduct as supreme. So those 5 are the non-views.
근데 따왕이 땅 위에서 대마시를 높아 쉬운데 다 따문한테 다 공주 줄줄로 그래서 그러. 공주 바퀴 소리라고. 이러고 있어요.
그래서
다 따문한테 당기서 대마시로 보시고 시절 어떻네. 따문 같은 다 따문 같은 선발할 때네 따문 같은 거. 다 선소를 요청을 해요.
영어적인 게 대존재야. 되게 따와 있는 거지. 아니 벌써 이 영어 따와가 쉬우네.
그리고 배나
사람이 따와가 지내라다.
따문 같은데 다 대왕가 따문 같아요. 다 따와서 그런 것까지 다 보시죠. 너무 좋아서.
So by following these, the five afflicted obstructions that are view, you also make the non-views, those five afflictive obstructions that are non-views, to become the wrong, the wrong conception.
아니 지도라 따와서 되게 다 대지라 따도 따기 원장을 다 단전을 해서 와 지도라 따와대 아니
다그제스
나오는 거 단전
대시가 나도
대지 단전을 해서 와 단직다 다 강상도 봐 대마트 봐
뭐다 대시 나도는 봤어
대마트 다 같이 대지 나도 대지라 깎았다 아니 얘가 대마트 좀 해서 얘가 나도 좀 해서 직다 돼야 돼 다 강상도 좀 해서 그래서 그러고 직다 돼야 다 강상도 안 들어가 이제
직도로 따
직도가 따와서
이제 그 처전에 따와서
직도는 직다가 가는 직다 다 강상도 안 들어 강상도 안 들어 아니 따와 줘서 강상도 안 들어 뒤 종한테 어떤 때가 되면서 그래서 내가 따와 그래 따와 줘서
So the view of the transcendental collection sees the things as existing, self-existent, and existing as a self, and then the view apprehending the view as a spring, apprehending the wrong view as a spring, thinks that whatever the view of the transcendental collection is apprehending is right.
강사 대바트가 좀 바데 다 이야고 대바트는 좀 바다 다 완전했어.
So thinking that the person is existing, truly, the person existing truly, is the correct, is the correct view. Thinking that is what it means by apprehending the wrong view as spring.
직다세는 강사한테 되게 되잖아요. 들어서 대인 저 직다 강사도 안 들어.
맞아.
강사한테 되게 되잖아요. 다 따와줘서 다 강사한테 되게 되는 좀 같이 다 송화된 대파고 되게 다 양호되는 좀 같이 이러고 따와줘.
So the view of the transcendental collection, is thinking of the person as existing self-sufficiently or substantially, and then the view, the apprehending the wrong view as spring, is the mind that thinks, that thinks that apprehending the person as existing self-sufficiently or substantially, is correct.
와다 투치를 말 관심 많지 예상정말 관심 단계 따와가고 정말 때에 다 따마가 관심 다 너무 바뀔 수 없어서 그럽니다. 등록을 해서.
So by apprehending those 4-5 views, then you make non-views to become delusions.
당연한 점이 시험에나 딱 세바다. 이가지고 그래서 딱 따와 주주로요. 다 데라세니. 가사가 다르다. 무슨 좀 가디나. 나나 삼대 시스템 대왕선은 뭐 작업 못 해가지고 그냥 내 쪽에 되는 거죠.
So because of grasping at the self and existing as existing self-sufficient or substantially, or as existing truly, then you have desire coming from that.
아니요, 땅에 뒤에만 그 땅은 가지 되기로.
And then because of again that wrong view, thinking the self or the I as existing from its own side, then there comes that pride.
근데 고로서한테 딱 나타 따보면 되지. 따와나 근데 딴날 생기가 문제비 딸로 같이 딸로 지러서 따왔는데
anger, is the mind, that doesn't get along with others and others who don't follow your view, or who don't get along with your view. So these minds, some of them we can identify, but some of them we cannot identify, right? So anyway, this can be only abandoned. This can be only abandoned on the path of seeing. So before that, you will not be able to abandon them. And so right now, because of following these minds, like the desire, the anger, pride, we face many problems, many sufferings, right? So that comes, those mind of anger, pride comes because of ignorance, right? So because of the ignorance, then you have this grasping at existing, at the thing as existing from their own side, existing truly, and so forth. Right? So, for example, when you generate anger, when you get angry, that makes you unhappy. Your friends are unhappy also, right? So even though it makes us unhappy, we still get angry, right? We're not able to stop it. But we don't know that we are suffering because of getting angry. We are ignorant to that. So if we knew that we are suffering because we get angry, then we will not get angry, right? We'll try not to get angry, or we'll not get angry. And just like, we know that if we jump into water, we might die, so therefore we don't jump into the water, right? So anyway, that comes because of the ignorance and because of this, the wrong view, the view apprehending it, an extreme, and so forth. Right? So anyway, so these can be only abandoned, when you achieve the path of seeing. So if you can, understand that with one, then you can apply that to the other ones, the other Four Noble Truths.
I'm just curious why they're abandoned again and again by all of the four. Is there some different aspect of them each in regard to the Four Truths?
So, there's a desire in regards to the object, right? So desire for this book and desire for this cup, it's two different things.
Right.
So because of different object that you are attached to, then that becomes the two different attachments. And so, if you are able to abandon attachment to this object, doesn't mean you will be able to abandon attachment to every object. Right? So you can abandon attachment to some object, but you may still have attachment to some other objects. But with regards to the emptiness, when you realize emptiness of one object, then it is easy to realize the emptiness of other objects. So, the abandonments, you abandon individually or simultaneously. So if you abandon it individually, one by one at a time, then you have to abandon all of them one at a time. But if you abandon them simultaneously, then you can abandon all at one time. So yeah, when you abandon, maybe you can abandon the attachment involving observing the true suffering, attachment of observing true origin, attachment observing true path and true cessation. You can, in regards to attachment, you can abandon all at the same time. But now, right now, we're counting. So how many are there? So when we count, we have to count one by one like that. So something like that, I think.
Okay. This little boy, he doesn't see anything that we just
It says the view as supreme and the apprehending the ethics and the modes of conduct as supreme. So this one is observing the true suffering, right? Mm-hmm. And so now it says here, extend the reasoning to the others. Extend the reasoning to the others. You know what does that mean?
Yeah. The other three of the truths are treated in the same way.
So, okay, all right.
For the same 10.
So you all understand that, right? Yeah. That's what it means, yeah. So that's what it means. Yeah. Extend the reasoning to the others means like, and apply the same number of delusions, for the others, rest of the truths, rest of the Four Noble Truths. So to support that, then quoted from the text called Ornament for Illumination, and this, so there it mentions about that, right? The 10 desires or 10 afflictive obstructions. And then now the second one, after that paragraph, there's a second. It says the second. There are 72 afflictive obstructions, right? So earlier we talked about the afflictive obstruction, 40 afflictive obstruction to be abandoned on the path of sins, which are included in the desire realm. So now it's talking about the higher realm. So in the higher grounds or the higher realm, there's a form realm and a formless realm, right? And so because there are 36 included within the grounds of the form realm, and there are 36, included within the grounds of the formless realms.
다대 지발에 간지 콘트롤 파피에 콘트롤 파피나 아니 지발시잖아. 근데 만들어서 지발했어.
So 36 is similar to that, except you take away the anger. So if you take out the anger, then it will be same. This is 9 times 4 is 36. Right?
That's what the Maloshan was.
So you take away anger?
Zudan Zumis, they keep on the control.
Sorry?
Oh, it's just saying.
When the body people are anger, is that where the fullness from? You don't have it.
Yeah.
Big patience.
Yeah, you should be in like not the jhanas. So you're really peaceful.
So they're the same obstructions, but there's no anger and formless. Is that correct?
More formless. Yeah, either way. Those are absorptions. Those are like very deep meditative states. Yeah, so
Okay.
there's no like disturbance of mind.
But this is not a doubt.
So you don't have anger, or you don't have anger manifesting?
Yeah, right. You don't have it manifest, right? So you need to get rid of it.
It doesn't manifest, but doesn't mean it doesn't have, right?
Well, the seed's still there.
What's the difference though? If you say you have anger, that means it's manifest.
Well, not necessarily. I have anger, but it's not manifesting now. I'm peaceful.
You don't have anger then.
Right? I do have.
You have the potential
Not
for
if you're not angry.
But he has the potential for anger, right?
Yeah, as long as you have the ignorance, you have the potential for anger.
Yeah, then you should say, I don't have attachment also.
If you don't have it right now, you don't.
So you are saying if you have to have it right now?
I'm saying that's what have means.
So you don't have wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now. You don't have it right now with you.
That's a good one.
So if you have at home, you have, right?
But if you can still say, like, people will see you and say, oh, you don't have your wife. They will say.
But you have,
yeah.
right? You will say you have. And you can't say you don't have wife. You have wife.
No,
it's
I can
in
say I don't
house.
have my wife here with me.
Yeah, that's right. But you don't. But you have. You don't have it here.
Yeah.
You don't have her here, but you have, right?
So in the same way.
So in the same way, I don't have attachment right now at this moment, but I have attachment.
So
I
it's
don't have
accurate
anger
to say
right now,
you don't
but-
have attachment, and it's also accurate to say you have it. It just depends on what you mean. by it.
That's the difference. You see, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I have anger, but it's not manifesting at this moment.
Yeah.
I have attachment, but it's not manifesting.
Yeah.
You have a wife, but she's not right here at this moment. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can't say they don't
Anger
have
is a
anger.
little bit different though, I think.
So it'll be a little different, right? To say you don't have anger in the form realm or formless realm.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some reason I've got this. But the Majadu was true.
Yeah, they have pride.
Yeah.
They have desire.
Yeah.
Why do they have desire when they're in a deep absorption?
They want to stay there.
Huh?
They want to stay in it.
That's not desire.
Why not? The desire to remain in it is.
Yeah, but
desire.
if somebody disturbs them, they might get angry there, right?
I don't know if anyone can disturb them.
Why not?
Because they're in a form and a formless.
No. Form realm and formless realm can be in this realm, in this world also, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But if you are in
So like if you're in deep meditation and somebody comes and hit you with a stick,
yeah, but the theory is that
I'm meditating, don't hit me.
the theory is that if you are in the formless absorption or form absorption, even if someone hit you with a stick, it's not going to bother you.
Oh.
It's a really deep.
You can't tell unless you're there yourself.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I say in theory. Who has form? I don't know anyone who has.
So anyway, the reason
formless
why
absorption.
there's no anger here,
You have to look at investigation this.
you have to find for that. You can't just say there's no anger in their mind.
And 콘로세 가나 라도 따오면 되지. 라도 따오면 되게 되라. 따라. 근데 나스비 다 생기게 들어서. 그럼 봐. 콘로세 가래. 그럼 뭐가지. 저도 따오면 돼. 저도 지. 다 따와서 그래. 저도 상태에서 따다면 우리가 다티. 그래서 지금
So how do you define anger? It's a state of mind, right?
Hmm.
What kind of mind is anger?
He wants to harm someone else.
Yeah.
Why?
Understand.
That wants to harm someone else. So, for example, today I had to go to court. It's because a guy robbed my landlord's apartment, who I saw robbed the apartment. He broke in the house, which is also my house, and I was there when he broke in, so I saw him stealing things out of his house. So I feel angry toward him because that's my...
So you want to harm him?
Yeah, actually, when I saw him, I was surprised, like, because he has drawn the court case out for over 1.5 years, and then also when you go in the courtroom, he acts so confident and cool. I'm like, what's up? He feels like I'm gonna get away. So I felt angry when I saw him. Like,
Are you in court?
huh?
You in court?
Yeah, today.
Is you were a witness?
I'm a witness. Yeah. So, you know, I know he stole things, and I saw him do it with my own eyes. And it was my house. It's mainly because it was my house, and my wife was there too. And she was so scared for like months after that. Like, he broke the door off of my landlord's apartment. So it seems like he will do anything. Maybe he will come at night and kill us or steal our stuff, you know, those kind of worry. So for me, anger is like some offense which I take personally that it makes me want to retaliate. I want to make the other person feel as bad as they made me feel. Yeah.
Can I backtrack just for a second? We need to understand that with the 5 views and the 5 non-views, the 5 views are the causes to create the condition of the 5 non-views. In other words, if you eliminate or you have the antidote to the 5 views, the 5 non-views cannot arise. In his case with the coin, his anger could be said as a result of a wrong view. Sort of the self, he's learned about his stuff getting ripped off.
Yeah.
You know, it's recognizing the self as inherently existing. So that gives rise to the anger. So am I to understand that the 5 views, if you have the antidote to the 5 views, and practice the antidote to the 5 views, the 5 non-views cannot arise? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Tawangada tamingaya tawangada mazuta khatijawena tamingadi mazuta laya marsu rest. Yeah, that's true.
But it's mainly the ignorance, right? It's the main one.
Yeah. So attachment, again, you know, attachment comes because of that grasping, right? Grasping at self or I as existing from its own side, and existing truly because of that grasping. Then it says, I am there. I am like solid. That I won't have that. I need that. Then there comes the attachment for me to have it. And then there comes the anger. Says, oh, because of that grasping of the self as a solid from its own side, and you say, oh, you know, this person is harming me, the I. You know, I want to retaliate, you know, to that person. So then that's the anger. So everything comes from that. You know. So all the delusions, all other delusions. So the ignorance, you know, is like the root. You know, so if you cut the tree from the root, then it will never grow. But if you just cut it, you know, just trim the branches and leaves, then it will grow it again. You know? So it's just like the other small delusions.
So to practice the antidote, you need to practice the antidote for the views as opposed to the non-views. If you practice the antidote for the views, the non-views cannot arise, correct?
It's best one, but
So yes, of course, that would be the best. You know, to get rid of it completely, you have to apply antidote, you know, to the view. You know, so when you apply antidote to the view and get rid of it completely, then you will not have the others, you know, the non-views, the deluded, afflictive obstruction that are non-view. So you will not have them. But if you are not prepared or not at that level to be able to apply antidote to the view, you can still apply antidote to any kind of delusion that you can. So whatever you can do to abandon any kind of delusion, that's good. So if it's obstructed, then you can just trim the tree a little bit. That's good. You don't have to cut it completely from there.
Okay.
So if you cut it completely, then it will open all the views, right? But if you still can trim it a little bit, you can still be able to see a little bit. So it's just like that.
Or if you use the tree metaphor, then sometimes to reach to the trunk, you need to cut all the branches
All the
first
branches,
to get
yes.
there.
Yeah,
Better
you
than
can,
nothing.
you can cut, the small branches, pretty large branch, what's the branch?
Yeah.
Branch.
But you cut that root be easy, just want to cut that. Therefore we try to always we find tamazo kadina, ani nechadam, narjadam, ani kondro tunzo nimute kadina samena, utrute machondro was.
And so you should always think about the disadvantages of the attachment, anger, pride, jealousy, and so forth. So if you think about that, then that will reduce those delusions in your mind.
따와주면서 나도 kadina 용대가 조 따와준데 용도 was. 수수수수 쌈을다 수수수수 지. 그리고 따와르지. 근데 대 따와도 수수 강 제와 수수 강 시와도 미리 따다 맞으나 근데 대라되는 건 좀 괜히 쇼로 was.
So mostly, it's because of the view, thinking of your view, our view, as the supreme, as the right, as the correct view. So he says, oh, this is how it should be. We view that things should be like this, and then we grasp at that. And then whenever we see somebody not following that view, we think they are wrong, and then we get angry towards them, and then so from the view comes all these other delusions.
meaning para 뭐라 싶어요? 조조되니까 다 말봐 미시바 때문에 왔어.
So when there's a problem between two people, of course, basically it is because of the ignorance, right? Because of not knowing the reality.
다 대리 수조대 다 따와들 왔어. 내 사람들이 내 문인데 따다 있어. 가지고 말만 내 사람들 따다 돼 있어. 그 있어 주어로 와.
But on the other hand, it's the view, right? And so this one person says, no, this is how it is, and then others says, this is how it is. That's how it is. So because of not getting along with that, what they are thinking, then they get into fight, into problems.
아니 나자세도 가는 것도 나자세도 다 소소 집보면 상대 못하는 거 그거만 통주시는 나자세.
And then pride, is the mind, and instead of mind that thinks, one is the best, right? There's nobody better than oneself.
아니 다 내처럼 거거든요. 유효를 왔어.
And then attachment, of course, we always have that, right?
내 자신의 이심직까지 부모를 하는 사람이면 그때는 지금 내고 그리고 여기도 소소지고 다니면서 소소라 돈내고.
So attachment is not only referring to the sexual attachment, right? Having towards the opposite sex. It's not, or for sex only. It's anything you want to have. As I want to have that car, I want to have that house, I want to have that dress, and so forth. That's kind of attachment also, right?
대리들 때는 아니 다 고르는 것도 그러나 대 고르는 다 예월 그러나 따뜻해서 용어로 가지 마시. 그래서 다 고르는 양방향은 로데 가지.
And then also we have anger all the time, right? Most of the time. We have anger all the time. And so these delusions, they are all the time together there.
따wan 정도에 들리는 거 따wan 정도 되는데 그 쪼고 있는 건데 따와 되는 거 아니 잡아시 나자시 아니 공부를 하는 거
So apprehending the wrong view as the supreme is the main one, I think, because from that view, then the wrong view, that from their own view, and then there comes all the attachment, the anger, ignorance, and so forth. Right?
따오면 되는 거 같다는 거.
So because of not getting along with the views, then we get into fights, right? And so it's the same, among the friends, the couples, spouses, all this, the problem that happen is because of not getting along with their views. So we understand that these state of minds kind of cause harm to us, right? So we should identify these minds and then understand that from these minds we will experience all these sufferings, problems, and so forth. And so we should always try to avoid these minds. So some people, they drink, right? They drink alcohols in order to in order to bring peace in their mind, right? To make themselves happy. And so some people, they couldn't limit to the amount of drinks they take, and so they drink too much, and then they become intoxicated, crazy, and then they do all the things, right? And loses all sense of embarrassments. They don't have any sense of shame or embarrassment, and they even pee in their pants, right? When they're drunk. Normally they will not do that, right? So because of attachment, you drink alcohol, and then because you drink too much, and then you become drunk, and then you engage in all these wrong actions.
I want my friend, 2 Chinese girls. Usually they said they drink a lot. One girl, when she drank, she felt thinner. The other girl, she drank, it didn't be a problem. The last week she drank it, she cried. The other girl, she felt her amount of money.
So when she got drunk, then she would see all these things and she would cry. And the last time she said she saw her ex-boyfriend walking by, even though he was not there, but she said she saw it and then she was crying. And so actually it's because of the attachment, right? So you're attaching to that drinking, and you drink too much, and then you get drunk, and then you engage in all these wrong actions. So we have these afflictive obstructions all the time with us, like attachment, anger, ignorance, the view, and so forth. And so we should identify them and try to be conscientious when they arise in our minds. And so there are 72 from the higher realm, right? So 36 from the in the God realm, or the form realm, and then 36 in the formless realm.
And the Shaitan, that do want over Chivita, no more than the Shipchirani, the control Shipani, not some sort of how you maros.
And so the 10 delusions, right? 10 delusions are afflictive obstructions. And so those 10 times 4, in relation to the Four Noble Truths, then that makes 40. Right? And then when you take anger out from each of the truths, then you take out 4. So when you take out 4 from 40, that leaves 36, right? And so now when you take out the anger, then there will be only 9 afflictive obstructions, and observing the true suffering, observing the true origin, true cessation, and true path.
어디에 다시 파초를 놓았어. 컨트롤 제트는 대체 짠이 소스 쉐도는 더 봉하시면 뭐 자나 진이 방대에서 되는 사실. 다도 니바트 대사지. 바로 다도 니바트 다시 들어오나 다시 쉬도 되라 먹었지. 다들 그래라고 하면 같이 줘도가 뭐좀 놓았어. 무슨 내가 가지. 컨트롤 받는 집까지 하자.
So extend the reasoning to the other platform. This is the easy one, right? Extend the reasoning to the formless realm. So we talked about the form realm, and then you can extend the reasoning to the formless realm.
And the zoom is the one to go. And you know that job. And you got your money pass.
To answer the form realm, is established because there are 9 desires that is. The desire that is an affliction to be abandoned on the path of seeing, observing the true suffering of those form realms. Right? And then you can say pride, and the ignorance and so forth. And just like that, it's this desire that is an affliction to be abandoned on the path of seeing, observing the true suffering of those formless realms. So, form realm and formless realm. So these are the mind, these are the kind of mind that are to be transformed or to be abandoned. And so whenever we have any of these minds, then that brings suffering to us. And then suffering is anything that we don't want, is suffering. So even though we don't know all of them, there are some we know, right? And so it is important to not follow them.
Okay.
So why
Any questions?
were you going to tell us your theory about why it says no, that there's no anger in the form and formless realm?
No, we accept your theory.
I don't have a theory. I don't have a theory. I just think that there are, in a formless or form absorption, that it should be so peaceful. That's why they can, if they were angry, they would exit the absorption, right? So it seems like it makes sense to me, but yeah.
How about Nadia?
How about pride?
Pride.
Yeah, sure. Because some of the, depending on who the person is, but for some Tirthikas or whatever, they think that that is liberation, right? When they achieve the form absorption or formless absorption, then maybe they feel like I am the
best one.
Yeah, I'm the enlightened one.
Yeah. 공부하면 가다가 그렇게 오르고 시대.
시원한 애들스. 땡겨지기 시원한 애들스.
Yeah, this makes sense, but 내 제발이 같이 고리가 다 되는 거죠. Maybe this.
But there's a different reason which I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So. That's okay. My ignorance didn't get any bigger.
Well, this makes sense, but
so what you're saying is it doesn't manifest.
Yeah,
that's all you're saying, but you don't have so it will be too extreme, to say they don't have anger.
Yeah, I don't. There's something that I don't know what that forgets. 공부를 대파하죠. 대파할 수 있어야지. 지금이다. 아우 체크 안 해도 있다게 녹스. 이들이 공부를 공부에는 대파하죠. 아니 딱한 공부 대파할 수 있듯이 이게 잘못들. 대파.
What did they call just out of curiosity, they called the desire realm and formless realm. But there's still desire in form and formless realm?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's cool.
그럼.
더바라 가진 더 샤를 그랬어. 더바라 가진 더바라 그랬어. 건설 얘기가 가나 는더 바이 그랬어. 솔라스도 말라 더 바이 그랬어.
아니 또 가르쳤나 대발라 라파다 수도 좀 말아 쉬와 대발라 야다 그랬어. 대체는 그런 내가 다른 대야를 봐서 먹고 매우 계속 말았어. 그래서 어떻게 좋아. 대발라 라파다 공부를 쉬와다니다 공부쌤 좀 공부 되는
말하다 더바라 거라. 그래서 더박하면 거라. 속에 가면 가진 수에서 가능성은 더박하면 거라. 그래서 더박함들은 더잘 여러 전에 더박하면 거라겠어. 더함세라. 더박함라. 더박함들은 더바이네. 그래서 더잘 연애 더박하면 거라. 아, 소도 수맥함을 가진 더박하면 거라. 아주 먼저 나도 저도 알았어.
노력한다.
더박함들 더잘 예배 전에 더박하면 거라.
너희 대체 여가 죽어들지 말이야. Not only that.
So, what you are asking
Sit down.
is, why is it called desire realm? Why you don't call the form realm and formless realm desire realm? Because
Right.
they have desire too.
Yes.
Right? And earlier what Geshe-la was saying is that, they see the desire realm as gross,
Yeah.
and they see the form realm and formless realm as peaceful,
Yeah.
and that's what they aspire to achieve that, and that they go there. So that's a different answer to what you said. And so now I'm saying, is it because, so let's say desire realm, you have attachment, and that's why it's called desire realm. The beings in the desire realm have attachment, therefore they're in the desire realm. And so, I mean, literally that's how it sounds like. So when you say desire realm, it's the beings in the desire realm have attachment, so therefore they're in the desire realm. But why don't you call the form realm also desire realm? Because the beings in the form realm also have an attachment. And so Geshe-la was saying is, he doesn't think that desire realm is called desire realm because of the attachment only.
그러나 샘 라파 내가 가도 샘 라파 샘 차와서다 비슷하다고 말했어. 이시세야 나. 따뜻해.
So I think it's in terms of, it's not only to do with attachment or desire, it's mainly to do with a kind of mind, the gross mind and the subtle minds. So those who have a gross mind, who are not able to use their subtle mind, is called desire. It's in the desire, like the animals, the human beings, and so forth.
Maybe realm is
So
the wrong word.
yeah,
Dhatu, I think, is the Sanskrit. Dhatu.
Dhatu.
Yeah. Kama Dhatu. Rupa and Arupa Dhatu.
mm-hmm.
But I think Dhatu can, in Abhidharma, is also used, like Kam is used for part of consciousness, like awareness,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Rupa's body, right?
So that's different again. Then when you talk about the kam as a place or realm, and the kam as the constituent,
yeah.
is different.
Yeah.
The kam is era.
아니야.
But then color the kam
But realm makes it sound like a place.
대가.
The realm, if you say realm in English, it sounds like a place.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you say something other than that, like the explanation that he's giving, it sounds like the names are differentiated by the grossness or subtleness of the mind.
Yes.
So it's not the place that changes, because also the people can enter the formless absorption
Yes.
from the desire.
In a human realm, yes.
Yeah, so maybe the better way to think of it is those are like layers of mind or something that are being used.
No, but there are places also.
Yeah.
So there's a form realm place, and then there's a desire realm place.
Where is the form realm place?
The 17 regions.
Are they really region though, or are they
Yeah,
just
there's
levels,
no-
layered, like subtler and subtler
there's a
levels
place,
of
yeah.
the mind?
There is a place there.
I think it changes. It's like a
나도
space.
나도 지야 바람지.
Or dimension.
So up in the sky.
Yeah, I've seen the picture, like painting of that.
That's right.
있어.
Yeah.
just
I don't
Pure
believe.
land.
I don't believe the painting.
가자마자 또 그샘 차와도 라파 내가 시비쳤는데 너무 빨리 들어.
So you don't believe in Abhidharma kosher?
I believe most of it, yeah.
Yes, there's a Mount Meru.
Even His Holiness said like some of those things might be wrong. Because
So it's too modernized.
now people went to space and can see Earth, so it doesn't look like that. So, yeah.
Can you give me an example of a being in the formless realm? I guess maybe my mind is thinking of, are there certain beings that only exist in the formless realm, or in that state? If realm is not a place, if it's a state, are they only in that state? Can you give me an example of a being?
So the formless realm don't have the form, so they don't really have a specific place or the house or anything, something like that they live in and so forth. So it's like an intermediate state being.
Or like Bardo.
Yeah, Bardo. Intermediate state beings who are there, but they're roaming around everywhere. So anyway, so that's when you describe as the place or the person. But again, there's absorption. It's called absorption. It's like a state of mind, a concentration. And so when you say the formless realm, again, it would be maybe wrong to say realm. So you'd have to say state of mind. That is able to see things as infinite and so forth. So like that's called the infinite space, infinite consciousness, and nothingness, and then pick up existence like that. So there are four different levels. 4 different formless realms. So it's a mind. So when you have that ability to concentrate or absorb in that concentration, so that's called this mind and that mind. So that can also exist in the mind of the human beings.
So the term can have different meanings, different types of meaning.
Well, when you talk about the person, then it's the being, right? The person itself. That the mind is a different person and the mind. So if the person, then you say the formless being, and then that's the person talking about the person. But the formless absorption, can be can exist in the mind of the human beings also. That's the quality of mind. So they have other aggregates, the aggregate of feeling, the aggregate of discrimination, the aggregate of consciousness, and so forth. So they do have that.
Thank you.
Therefore, I don't know exactly this kind of person, I added in there. I don't know really.
I'm looking at Andy,
So formless realm could be like spirits or things like that type of...
Spirits?
I don't know.
is
No,
achieved by, like, the people who get into the formless realm, they
Yeah.
have to achieve it first as
That's right.
some other type of desire realm being.
Yeah.
And then when they
They really have
pass
come
away,
They're master, then they're born there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're very high level.
No, it's just giving example of the bardo, not like the bardo beings, not like the spirit.
Oh, okay.
So they have a very high practice, realizations. 통보에 몇 개씩 하더래요. 많지 않더라고요.
다 고로소리 나는 집도 냠내배다 something she is which come out of 또 내가 아빠 공공 와서 뭐 봐도 근데 냠내야 통보리 지네 대남편은 다 통보에서 대토지 단단한 동안에 봐도 근데 다 타와야 보면 타와를 놓다 되는 대용가 근데 계속 제대로 용어에서
농을 많이 본 거야. 농을 많이 본 거야. 농을 통해서.
다 요즘 다 세팅이 되다 방송에 말한다. 뭔가 봐야 봐라. 단단 동안에 다 타와 돈다 단단하다 동안도 다 타와야 보면 타와를 놓다 되는 대용가 다 계속 제대로 용어에서
So, and anyway, so that's it's called the peak of existence, so in the samsara, in the cycle existence, that's like the peak, that's the highest kind of rebirth in samsara. So that's called the peak of existence. And so that's in the formless realm. So there are 4 states in the formless realm. It's called the infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, and then peak of existence. So the peak of existence is the highest one in samsara, in the highest rebirth in samsara. And especially in the Hindu religion, they can engage in this practice, to develop that absorption. And then when they see that there's so much desire, so much bad things happening in this world, and then so they say better to have that peace of mind with the concentration. So they practice, and they achieve that. They can even from that teaching or practice, they can also achieve that higher state. But when they achieve that, they still see the suffering. I mean, they view that as the liberation. When you achieve that, you have achieved liberation. You have liberated yourself. But then when they are there, they still see the suffering. And then say, oh, this is all wrong. This was supposed to be liberation, but it's not liberation. There's still suffering. And then they develop this wrong view, thinking that there's no liberation at all. No point practicing and so forth. So when they develop that wrong view, and then after that, when they die from there, and because of that wrong view, then they fall into the lower realm. They can fall into the lower realm. Not necessarily they will fall, but they can fall. That can cause them to be, that fall into lower realm, like hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm, and so forth. So some people tell you, that you go to the temples and you'll be very happy and all these things, but after coming here, you still see yourself suffering so much, and sometimes even more, and then you think, oh, this is wrong, it's completely wrong, and then you develop this wrong view. And so you lose faith in Buddhism and so forth. It might happen, right? And then because of that, it's this is all nonsense and so forth. You might say that, and then because of that thought, you may fall into the lower. So it's similar to that. Example, for example.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time.
Do you have a question?
I just had a thought about the anger, so.
Yeah.
So I sort of agree with Andy that in the absorption, because anger is a disturbance, that it's not possible to have it at least in that state. And it might be that in the post-meditative state it still comes back because it's not done with it.
That's right, yeah. So it's not manifesting at that time.
Yeah.
But still there.
But the other afflictions are, it's still possible to have traces of those during the absorption, like pride or desire. You can have those and still be absorbed at some level. Maybe it's not the deepest level of absorption, but it's kind of, it's the thing that needs to be removed as you go along the path.
Yeah.
Well, even those, like the definition of the different absorptions, if I remember, is like each one sees the wherever it's at, as not fine enough and wants to go more subtle, right?
Yeah.
So there's desire even in the function of entering the absorptions.
The desire is used as part of the path.
Yeah.
Good. Everybody has different idea, same idea put together, they make sense. So we have learned a lot investigation that. I remember something that I don't remember exactly.
More homework to do.
Everybody had homework. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll stop now.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
How's your eye?
I think my eyes not very good.
Did you watch a lot of TV today?
No, I didn't watch.
Maybe
Check all
reading too much?
No, Geshe-la don't watch TV at all.
Reading too much maybe.
Geshe-la, do you know the healing thing for your eye?